Hello, my name is Andrea, and welcome to my channel. I'm the primary caregiver for my mom who's been living with dementia for more than 3 years now. If you're a caregiver in need of self-care or know of someone in need of self-care, then this is the right channel for you. Come and let's journey together as we learn from each other. The information in this video is for educational purposes only and should not be considered medical advice. Always consult your healthcare provider for medical questions or concerns. This content is intended to support, not replace, professional medical care. Hello to all my YouTube family and friends. Thanks again for joining me in another episode on my Caregiving channel. This is a channel that uplifts caregiver, supports families, and reminds us that we are not alone on this caregiving journey. Today's conversation is so personal. Many of you know that I've walked this path of caregiving myself, from managing medication to sitting in quiet, prayerful places during moments of health crisis. And if you're watching this channel right now, chances are you've been there too. Yes, today we're talking on a very important topic. It's about diabetes care, and we're not taking it from a clinical perspective, but from the perspective of the heart. So whether you're taking care of your parent, you're taking care of a spouse, a child, a friend, a neighbor, or maybe even yourself, this episode is for you. Today I'm honored to welcome my guest, Tony Kelly. I'll allow him to tell you a little bit more about himself, but what I know of him, he's a diabetes educator and an ambassador, and he's residing in the UK, and he has dedicated years to helping families like ours understand and manage diabetes with wisdom and compassion. Welcome to my channel, Tony.
Thank you, Andrea, for having me, and I hope we have a lovely conversation today for all your listeners and viewers to take on board. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. So thank you so much again for being here. And I wanted to start us off with a verse that truly speaks to what caregiving and your work represents. I'm gonna share with you Isaiah 58 verse 10, which says, "If you pour yourself out for the hungry and satisfy the desire of the afflicted, then shall light rise in the darkness, and your gloom be as the noonday." That's what you do as an educator and an ambassador. And that's what many of us as caregivers are doing every day, Tony. So for those who are still learning, like myself, can you help us to understand what diabetes really is?
So that your listeners and viewers get a real understanding of who I am, Andrea, they need to know, like yourself, I have a lot of Jamaican in me. I was born in Britain, in Carshalton in Surrey, but my parents at an early age sent me off to the land of their birth, Jamaica. So I grew up in Whitehall, St. Thomas, Jamaica. I went to high school in St. Thomas and Portland, and then also to Micro Teachers College. But as a child growing up, Andrea, very, very briefly, I saw telltale signs while I was 8, 9, 10 of relatives of mine, and some of your caregivers and caretakers and so on will be able to resonate with this. Some had strokes, some were completely blind, some had heart attacks, some had kidney or renal failure, necessitating leaving the country area to go into Kingston on the dialysis machine. Some had lower limb amputations, what we would in Jamaica call chopping off of toes and feet. And finally, some died prematurely, or what we would say, gone too soon. I would ask these relatives, what's the matter with them? And all they would do is tell me they have a touch of sugar. So they minimized or trivialized or downplayed this very, very serious medical condition, diabetes, by referring to it as a touch of sugar. Okay, so I've always known it as a touch of sugar, not
I've
as
heard that all the while too.
all the time. But I want your viewers and listeners to understand this medical condition is a very, very serious one, and it is more than a touch of sugar. So fast forward, after I went to Michael Teachers College, taught in high schools in Kingston, came back to Britain in 1979, and then my wife, 20 years ago, noticed the 4 key symptoms that I might have type 2 diabetes. T for tired, T for toilet, T for thirsty, and T for thinner, losing weight. But Andrea, this is a man's thing. Wow. Most women, at the first sign of a twitch, an ache, or a pain, make a beeline to go and see their GP. Okay? Men are the complete opposite. It's a gender thing, where men gone to the rum bar, then go and play cricket, then go and watch domino, then go and watch a football match. They are not in
totally ignorant.
Exactly. And it's this macho manly thing. I don't want to be seen to be going to my GP because that's what women should do. Us men must be brave and macho and manly. And my wife kept nagging me and saying, something's wrong with you, Tony, something's wrong with you. Wow. You're getting up, this is 20 years ago, 3 or 4 times during the night to go to the toilet, or the loo, as we would say in Britain. So I was in denial, like the ostrich, the largest bird on the planet, at the first sign of danger, buries its head in the sand, hoping the problem will go away. I want your viewers and listeners to understand, the problem ain't going away. It is going to exacerbate or get worse. And this is why an event like this with me and you, Andrew, are having a conversation here, trying to get people to realize, hang on, do not suffer in silence. Go and get your health checks done. Go and see your GP, go to the clinic, go to see the nurse and so on. And that was what happened. I went and I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which in my case, Andrea, runs in my family. So it's hereditary. It's in the DNA, the genes, the metabolism. But I made consciously, thinking of what was happening when I was a child growing up in St. Thomas, consciously decided, Andrea, to make the lifestyle or behavioral changes in order to keep the complications at bay. So I've had it for 20 years, but Andrea, I can look you in the eye and tell you, I have never taken medication for my type 2 diabetes. Wow. Physical activity and a healthy, well-balanced diet. And we'll talk about more of that, but I'll stop there for now.
Wow. Sometimes, especially with our elderly loved ones, symptoms can be mistaken for something else. Can you tell us what are some of the signs caregivers should never overlook?
Right. Well, first start, sometimes diabetes might be in your system and it can remain in your system. Remember my health disclaimer, I'm a patient expert. I'm not a GP or a doctor or a dietitian or so on. But it is a known fact that diabetes can remain undetected in your system if you don't go and get your health checkups done for up to 10 years. And by the time you find out, the horse has bolted and gone through the door and it's too late. But as I mentioned earlier, tiredness, T for tired, T for toilet, T for thirsty, T for thinner, losing a lot of weight. Then there are also 2 other classic symptoms. They are blurred vision. Suddenly, you're not seeing clearly the small print on the Kindle or the mobile phone or the book you're reading or
tablets.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, your physical tablet bottles are talking about.
Yes. So blurred vision is another issue. And slow healing of cuts and wounds. You might have a cut on your finger or on your toe or your big foot or whatever. And instead of its healing, because there's too much blood glucose or blood sugar in your system, it is preventing it from healing. So those are 2 other classic symptoms that one needs to look out for. And if you have any of these, then you need to go, if in doubt, check it out. Go and get the checkups done. I know in some countries, Andrea, like here in Britain, we have the National Health Service and everything is free at the point of entry. In some countries like Jamaica and parts of America and so on, if you have to go to the GP or the clinic or the doctor or so on, it might be a cost of money. But you have to find the money from somehow. to go and get the blood checks done to see whether you're pre-diabetes or whether, which is borderline, or whether you actually have the condition. And the sooner you get checked out, then the necessary things can be put in place to assist and enable and help you to live your life with the medical condition. I'll say straight away, having diabetes is not a death sentence. I need to stress that. You can live with it for many, many years, but keeping your wholesome eating under control, eating healthily, and doing, some of you might know it as exercise, but I tend not to use the word exercise, Andrea, because that conjures up image, and you have a lot of people in the caregiving system that you must go to the gym. Tony Kelly's not advocating you must go to the gym. In the comfort of your home, and we'll come on to it, you can do physical activity to keep burning up the calories. All that lovely food we eat from the Caribbean and America and so on, we need to burn up the calories. And that's what, if we leave the sedentary couch potato, sit on our proverbial lifestyle and eating all this lovely food, you're not burning up the calories. You have to burn up the calories.
Yes, agreed.
So you get rid of the blood glucose and the blood sugar, which is there in your system. It can be fast-paced walking. It can be just standing up and down in your chair, your lounge or your armchair or so on, up and down. I also say to people, a lot of people now, Andrea, have Alexa and Siri. Alexa, turn off the light. Alexa, open the windows. Alexa, do this. Siri, do that. Then they have the remote control as well. These are practical little tips that I'm giving out here. Instead of, if you don't have mobility issues and you're able to get up from your seat, go and turn off the light. Go and switch on the television. Go and change the channel. You have done some physical activity, some movement, allowing the heart to circulate the blood around. If you're sitting down there for 6, 7, 8 hours and have moved, just like a car which is parked for 8, 9 days outside and hasn't been used for 2 weeks, the engine seizes up. We need to move. I am wanting your listeners to, even in the comfort of their home, and they're having issues of mobility and disability, I am wanting them to move. I'm going to give you a classic one. I made sure to bring it with me. Plastic bottles, not glass bottles. Fill them with water. And all you're doing, sitting there watching the TV or just lounging on your armchair or sofa with water, up, up. And then you bring them this way as well. And you also can do your feet if you're able to. Must be plastic bottles with water. You are burning up calories by sitting there and just doing that right in the comfort of your home. I haven't sent you to the gym to do that. Okay? Another thing I must tell you is stress. A lot of people didn't know this, but I'm letting your viewers know. Stress, too much stress in your life causes your blood glucose levels to rise. We have this organ called the pancreas. The pancreas makes the hormone insulin, which regulates the food we eat and drink. Put that aside for a moment. If you're constantly under a lot of stress, which is why prayer, deep breathing exercises, Tai Chi, yoga, various things are so important to bring your stress levels down, because constant stress over a long period of time impacts the pancreas, which makes the hormone insulin and can cause you to end up getting diabetes. I was at an event 6 months ago and a woman said, Tony, I've never had diabetes, but her husband died. She said it was the most stressful time. We know that bereavement and moving house at death, those are the main reasons, highest reasons for stress. And she said she went to her doctor and the doctor said, I'm afraid you have type 2 diabetes. The stress levels she was undergoing from trying to cope with the death of her husband caused her to develop type 2 diabetes. The stress, I'm begging your listeners to walking around the block and doing things in the comfort of your home, limbo if you can limbo dance, or reggae or soca, just to relieve the stress. You're in the car and you're stuck in traffic, please have stress balls in the car. You have them there. Okay, yeah, we're on the same page. My sister from another mother. I have these stress balls, and no matter where I am, and get thee behind thee, Satan, and something's tempting you, you just squeeze these. You squeeze them and you keep squeezing them. It alleviates the stress levels. I'm glad you brought those. We have not a sort of a preparatory thing where you knew before, but you're doing the right thing. This is one I use. They're called.
Oh yes, I love popping those, man.
No. Seriously, doctors over here have proven that these poppers are what we call bubble wrap. You can go into the cheaper stores in Florida or Jamaica and buy them, because they use them in hospitals a lot, for patients. They sit there or lie there, and all they do, it's therapeutic. Honestly, it is very good for somebody sitting there in an armchair, lounge chair. I have, so when I do my events, I have these, and I explain.
I'm here laughing, Tony, because here's what happened. You're popping it and it annoys somebody else and drives up your stress levels.
Yes. Be mindful. Do it on your own. But that too. So going from the bottles to the to these
stress balls,
to that, these are very good in terms of alleviating and the power of prayer. You can't beat prayer. You also cannot beat deep Tai Chi, deep breathing exercises and so on to bring your stress levels down, because too much stress impacts the pancreas and then can cause you to get type 2 diabetes. And that's completely different from the whole heap of food and the lack of physical activity. And I don't take no for an answer when people say, oh, Tony, I'm immobile, I have mobility issues, I'm disabled. I'm saying, no. Right in the comfort of your home, you can find things to do to bring your stress levels down. Another one I have here, which has suddenly, here we go. You can get these on Amazon. And it's basically, you put them in your fingers. And just like any other part of your body, you're stretching your fingers, stretching them. It's very simple, very, very effective. They're very cheap, and you put them in all of your fingers and your and your thumb. And you keep doing them on both hands. That's another means. Then you also have elastic bands. You keep stretching them.
As well. And thanks for all of those little simple but important tips that you just gave.
Yes.
So sometimes we don't even know what to look for until it is really serious. So we need to take proactive steps in treating whatever is happening in our bodies. All right, so Tony, let's talk about the daily stuff. What can caregivers actually do day in, day out? Walk us through some routines around like meal preparation. And we don't have to go in depth, but monitoring sugar and we don't do medication, but for people who are on medication, you might want to share some tips for them.
Yes. Well, for a start, I want your viewers and listeners to drink more water. And I'm not talking fizzy or sparkling water. Must be plain water. When the water falls from God's sky, it's not fizzy or sparkling. So go for, because fizzy or sparkling water, believe you me, they put chemicals in it, you will pile on pounds. That is a fact. You'll put on weight. So drink more water, because the aim of the kidneys is to flush out the toxins, the poisons, impurities that are within you. So the more water you can drink, and some people say, Tony, I have a problem drinking so much water. I say, well, add a little, and some people say they don't like the taste of the water. I don't want you to make lemonade now, but you can add a touch of lemon or something else that may make it more for you in terms of the taste of it. But also remember, in mango, melon, cantaloupe, guava, quinep, you name all the fruits, there is water in these as well. Fresh fruits and vegetables, pop chow, spinach, callaloo, chocho, okra, lady's fingers, they all have water in them as well. So it doesn't have to be pure water. You go for fresh fruits and vegetables. And I said fresh fruits and vegetables because a lot of people go for tinned or canned fruits and vegetables. The tinned and the canned fruits, they pack them with syrup. That's not doing your body any good. So if you can afford, and some people said to me, Tony, fruits and vegetables is expensive. And I said to them, listen, when I was growing up as a child, we all had our little piece of, at the back of the house, we would grow the cress and the salad and the tomatoes and the this and the that. We need to go back to basics. In Florida, where you are, you have the sunshine. There's nothing to stop the kids growing the red peas or the gunga peas or the salad or the cress or so on, or the cucumber. And then when they put it on their dinner plate, they can say, "This, I prepared this." And even if you live in an apartment, you get a box and you grow the things in there. So when I go to Barbados and Jamaican people say to me, and Dominica, "Oh, Tony, a lot of the fruits and vegetables is imported. It comes in and it's very expensive." I say, you have the sun, you have the soil, and you have the climate. Grow your own. Get saplings, get seedings, get little rootings, and grow your own. And you can know and get the children accustomed to taking their little watering can and going out there and watering it. It makes them so proud to say, that pumpkin or that chocho or that vine, it's from little acorns oak trees grow. It's as simple as that. You don't have to go into these posh supermarkets to buy all of these fruits and so on and vegetables, which you can grow. In Britain here, we have 4 seasons. So we can only grow things like in our garden here during the summer. In the Caribbean and in the States, Florida, all year round is summer. So the sunshine is there to grow the things and not having to go buy it in the supermarket. Another thing I'd suggest is portion sizes. Less is more. Some people seem to think that they must fill their tummy and overfill. No. Smaller portion sizes. Your belly eventually shrinks in terms of the amount of food that you're eating. So when some people say, "Tony," I say to people, like for instance, hold out the palm of your hand. The amount of rice you eat must fit comfortably. Cooked rice, because some people ask me if it's uncooked rice.
Because if it's uncooked, you know it's swell.
Exactly. They're teasing me at my events. And I said, no. The portion of rice you eat on your dinner plate, because all of those things, rice, yam, potato, etc., they are carbohydrates or what we call starchy food, which is good for you for energy, but less is more. One has to be careful about the portion sizes. So healthy, well-balanced diet, going for a lot more, because remember, all of these carbohydrates break down. Some people seem to think, if I give up the donut, the ice cream, the Easter bun, the Christmas cake, which is all sugar, I'll be fine. Remember, viewers and listeners, all carbohydrates are starchy food, rice, yam, patty, cocoa bread, break down into your body into blood glucose or blood sugar. I want your listeners to remember that. So they need to be mindful of that. They need the starchy food. And I'm going to tell you something about one of the starchy foods which is good for you. And it is called sweet potato. Do not be fooled by the word sweet. There is some inside which is red, some of an orange color inside, and some of a purple color. The one which has a low glycemic index and is better for diabetes people or even people who don't have diabetes is the purple one. As opposed to, we in Jamaica would talk about Irish potato. That's what we used to call it. Too much of that is not good for you. The spuds or the French fries or what have you, or the chips. The baking and boiling the sweet potato, especially the purple colored one, it's so much better for your system. So that's another tip I'll give to you. I mentioned water. I'm begging your listeners to stop going to the fast food takeaway or junk food outlet or having Mr. Deliveroo or whoever. Nowadays, they have them all over the place and they just order the food in. Try and cook your own meals. So you know how much sugar, how much salt, how much saturates, how much oils you're putting in it. When you have the delivered stuff, whether it be the pizza, whether it be the a certain type of chicken, whether it be the kebab, that's full of saturates and full of salt and full of sugars and full of oils. If you prepare your own meals, you're far better doing that. And for those people who might be, I know some people are caregivers, but some people do work. On a weekend when you're off work, prepare 3 or 4 dishes and put them in your fridge or freezer. So on the way home, you have those to come and just heat up and have, more than heading to the fast food, the takeaway, the junk food, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You're not helping your body. And when we were growing up in Jamaica, there weren't these many fast food outlets, Andrea. We know that for a fact. Foods were regularly prepared, which is why so many people now are developing diabetes, especially children, age 13, 14, 15. In my day of growing up in the 60s in Jamaica, no child, one or two had type 1 diabetes, which is when the pancreas itself packs in all together and does not work, so makes no insulin. But that has nothing to do with age or gender or ethnicity or size. That's type 1. Type 2 is progressive. It runs in some families as it does in mine, but with some it's a case of having too much weight around the midriff, preventing the pancreas from doing what it should be doing properly, making the insulin to regulate what goes around the body. And we can't, with type 2, as I say, it's progressive, it runs in families, and even somebody who is thin or skinny, or in Jamaica would I say mager, can also develop type 2 diabetes. So we need to be mindful about how much we're eating, what sort of foods we're eating, and are we doing regular physical activity. Physical activity, what you and most people would say is exercise. But I tend not to use that word because it conjures up images. Tony wants a person to go to the gym. And I'm saying, in the comfort of your home, put on the Bob Marley, put on the soca, put on the hip hop, and just dance and do your limbo. You are doing movement. And if at all possible, climb the stairs. You see, when you go to the supermarket, park the car way down yonder and walk from there up to the entrance of the supermarket. Then when you get into the supermarket, don't use the travelator or the lift, because you don't have a travelator or lift at your home normally, unless you live in a high-rise building. In your normal home, you have to use the stairs. And I say your feet were made for walking, so use them. When we were growing up in Jamaica, we walked 2 miles to school in the hot sun, Andrea, and walked 2 miles back. Nowadays, you see 6 kids in a car, school run, and 6 kids going in a car to school with mama or dad or some guardian or what have you. And then when they get back home, what are they on? The Game Boy, the PlayStation, or the Kindle.
Oh, yes.
Please put it away. Just like I'm saying, don't bother with the Alexa and the Siri and the remote control for the television. Have a limited amount of time when you have the kids on these mechanical, these gadgets, and let them go outside and play rounders and scotch and marbles and whatever, games that are available in the fresh air. In the Caribbean, there you have all that hot sun. Beautiful. They need to go out there.
I really love how you sum it up. Yes.
I keep it real.
Yes, keep it real. But I want us to talk about the caregiver's heart. Many of us are running on fumes, pouring out every day. What would you say to the caregiver who feels exhausted, unappreciated, afraid, and managing somebody who is diabetic and resistant to change, don't want to do the medication, don't want to do any dieting or anything? What would you say to them?
First of all, I'd say, of course, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And I empathize with people who are in that position. You can carry a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. But having said that, you have to coax and enable and empower the patient. It's for their own good to make the lifestyle changes. So things that I can think of respite care. Sometimes the carer needs a break. So you have to look at respite care. Where can the person you're looking after go into a very friendly environment and be looked after for a day or two while you recharge your batteries and come back a bit more rejuvenated and refreshed? So that is a starting point. You can't be doing this 24/7 day in, day out. You will burn yourself out. So respite care, but it has to be in an environment where the patient feels safe and secure and so on, and you go and be able to rest and go out with friends or what have you. take breaks. It's the same sort of thing, take breaks. Rest and sleep. I cannot stress the importance of how much rest and sleep is important to the caregiver, just as it is to the person they're caring for. So be able to take rest and make it be, if at all possible, a family affair. Rope in other family members from the family unit to come and take turns, so you can go out for a walk or go to the shops or go to the mall or whatever, and somebody else come in if they're available, or a close friend, a very trustworthy friend. It can't be somebody who you're not too sure about, somebody who's very trustworthy, because yes, it's a lot mammoth task you're taking on, doing this, looking after, and of course some people do not want to be put, understandably, into a nursing home or a care home. They'd rather be in an environment where they feel used to it and have all the creature comforts and used to what door is here and so on and so forth. So it's a matter of having a plan and having other people involved, if at all possible, to assist you in that regard. And if the patients are reluctant to take their medication, it's a matter of coaxing them. You can't force it down their throat. That's not the way to do it. But sometimes you feel that agitated. But it's a matter of telling them the importance of the medication. It's to help them manage their condition, help them to get better, help them to be more stabilized. Some might say, oh, but Tony, the side effects of this, that, and the other. I'd also have to say at that point, never forget natural remedies. When I was growing up in Jamaica, we never had, my grandmother would not give me Fensic, Panadol, Kafanol, paracetamol or so on. If I had a fever or a toothache or a headache, she sent me outside to go get the different types of bushes, which she boil up and then would use and rub me up. And next morning, I'm back at school. And next day, I'm back at school. So sometimes I'm not going to sit down here. If people are on medication, I'm not saying people must just suddenly go dash away the medication or put it aside. But sometimes some herbal remedies also have their own significance and importance. That's what grew us up in the 60s and 70s. Not all of this big pharma and pharmaceutical. And I don't want your listeners to think, well, they don't have their place, but one has to be careful about the amounts you're taking and the side effects and so on.
True. The thing is, there are a lot of stuff out there that people can take and people can try, but the thing is, usually there's a confusion about how much of what to take when you're doing it on your own. So like yourself, you are emphasizing the need for physical activity, and if you want to call it exercise. You are dealing with the other symptoms that come, like the stress level and all of that, and you are trying to eat properly, and that's what we would encourage for everyone. But there are other things out there, because I heard about not wanting to give any recommendation, but there's like cloves and cinnamon and those things that are out there, or ginger, that people can use to bring this thing under control. So it's for us to research.
Yes, it's a balance between modern day medicine and what we have used all down the centuries from Africa and the Caribbean and so on, and it's a balance between the two, and making sure herbal remedies do play a part within that. Very, very important. But I must also stress the fresh fruits and the water, the fresh fruits and the vegetables. And cutting down on the whole heap of carbohydrates. Go for nuts. Go not salted nuts, unsalted nuts, whether it's cashew or peanut or pecan or walnut is another good source of fiber. And your porridge. You can't get away from oats porridge. And I'm not talking the Fosca or Quaker oats, the refined porridge. I'm talking the thick, rolled jumbo oats. Now, some people, when they take it home, then Andrea, they then put it in the blender. What's the point of putting it in the blender? It defeats the whole purpose of the exercise. You're supposed to have the thick rolled jumbo oats with your plant-based milk, whether cashew milk, almond milk, or coconut milk, and that keeps you full and lowers your cholesterol levels straight off. And makes you not want to be keeping on pecking on food throughout the day, because you already feel full from having the oats porridge, you know. And as for juices,
Yes.
the orange juice and the apple juice and the pineapple juice and the grape, a lot of these carton boxes, they are
Stay away from
packed
them.
with
Stay
sugar.
away from them. Yes.
Packed with sugar. I'd rather your viewers and listeners have, and that is what makes you even more, whether depressed or more, or the diabetes coming on more, or whatever conditions you have, or so on. And as for people with warding off dementia, doctors have told me this: the more oily fish you have in your diet, we're talking mackerel, we're talking sardine, we're talking tuna, the more oily fish you have in your diet, it wards off dementia, Alzheimer's, and senility. I'm wanting your viewers to take that on board. The more oily fish. But Tony Kelly didn't say go down the road now and buy the fish and chips that they sell in Britain here, which is done in the batter and the whole heap of oil and so on. That is 3 times a year.
Tony, thanks again from the bottom of my heart for being here today. Your words brought clarity, comfort, and truth, and I know all my viewers will be impressed with your knowledge.
Thank you.
All our caregivers watching, remember, your light is rising. Even when it's hard, even when you're tired, remember you're doing holy work.
Yeah, exactly. Amen.
Please like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more real conversation. Drop your comments, because we love to hear and continue on this discussion. Until next time, take care of yourself. But before I go, remember to love upon your loved ones in a way that they can appreciate the love right now. Walk good. Thanks again, Tony.
Oh, you're welcome, Andrea.
We're coming back for part 2.
All right, anytime.
Walk good. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrea.